It's Friday, March 8th, 2024, and this is the Washington Times front page. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. In his State of the Union address, a feisty President Biden called on Republicans to end their blockade of aid to Ukraine and revive his border security plan in a primetime test of his fitness for a second term. Dave Boyer and Jeff Murdoch report the president tried to bring as much passion and feistiness as he could muster for the hour-plus address, with polls showing that more than three-quarters of Americans believe he's too old to be effective. Biden said Congress and the American people must wake up to unprecedented threats amid stalled military aid packages for Ukraine and Israel. Biden announced he'd ordered the U.S. military to construct a port on the Gaza Strip's Mediterranean coast to provide humanitarian assistance by sea. Biden also addressed Laken Riley, whose killing 2 weeks ago in Georgia has been blamed on an illegal immigrant. Ahead of the address, the House passed an act that imposes rules that could have prevented the catch and release of the Venezuelan migrant accused in Riley's slaying. Stephen Dinan reports more than 36 Democrats joined Republicans in the 251 to 170 vote to pass the bill. Biden said the answer to solving the issues at the southern U.S. border is to revive a measure that previously failed in the Senate. That measure would add more resources to Homeland Security and the immigration courts to speed up processing of illegal arrivals. Opportunistic criminals increasingly see unsecured delivery trucks as easy prey. Matt Delaney reports delivery drivers and their family members across the country say the work has always carried an element of risk. Some neighborhoods have been historically plagued by crime, but the situation has worsened in the past months. Criminals increasingly view the highly visible trucks as prime targets. They're often loaded with pricey consumer goods, and drivers are usually alone and unharmed. U.S. Strategic Command head General Anthony Cotton recently told Congress that China is developing a new generation of mobile intercontinental ballistic missiles. Cotton revealed details of the development in closed-door testimony to the Senate Armed Services Committee last week, Bill Gertz reports. A Strategic Command spokesperson, citing a policy of not discussing classified information, declined to comment further on the matter. The spokesperson said the general stands by his testimony on the weapon. And finally, Ben Wolfgang recaps the latest Washington Brief, a monthly forum hosted by the Washington Times Foundation concerning the potential for North Korea to make a diplomatic deal with the U.S. in the future. The Biden administration's efforts to revive denuclearization talks with North Korea haven't yet produced an outcome. Some analysts believe that position could change in a potential second Trump administration. The Washington Times Foundation and this newspaper share the same founders. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. And a quick programming note, the front page will be off next week and return on Monday, March 18th. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.